Holy crap, it's been a long time since I did a video. And I don't know what struck me to do one today, but I wanted to talk about these two knives. These are the two knives that almost exclusively I have been carrying every day for the past 2 years. The only exceptions to these are my Swiss Army knives, which I just kind of mix in when I feel like carrying around something with a bunch of tools on it. But generally, every day, it's one of these two. So what we have here is the Spyderco Para 3 lightweight and Essie Azula 2. So what do I have to say about these knives? I'm not the YouTuber that's gonna give you all the specs on these. I can tell you that this Essie Azula is in the black oxide. You see that a little bit better? That's the coating. We'll talk a little bit about that in a bit. But let's start with the Para 3 lightweight. So I bought this 2 years ago, basically when I first arrived in Texas. And was in love with this knife. Loved the fact that I could flick it open with any finger I wanted. Loved the slow roll on it. Loved the grind. And it's just a nice slicing knife, as people like to say. What's also great about both of these knives, before I forget, both made in the USA. That's a big deal for me. If you... will that focus? There we go. USA Earth, Golden, Colorado. Not all Spydercos are made in the US, but they're working towards that, from what I understand. I know a lot of people have talked about the plastic and, they prefer like a G10, which is what this is right here, or a micarta. This is great. I got no complaints about this. The weight of this is wonderful. The only thing about this knife was I bought it. I was wearing it every day. Then I, filtered in some of the Swiss Armies here and there, like I said. And then I bought this one. And I love a fixed blade knife. There's just something about, hey, I need to cut something versus, hey, I need to cut something. I'm ready to go. Maybe that little time difference doesn't mean much to other people, but to me, it makes a difference. It just, I don't know, it simplifies my mind, which doesn't mean that I don't fidget with this thing all the time, and I'll probably do it 50 more times in this video. But once I got this, I started wearing it every day. So this pretty much went into a go bag, and it was my go knife for a while. I had it in a what do they call them, fanny sacks, the Dendrite by I've been so long since I did a video. All of the brand names aren't in my head, which in my opinion makes this video more interesting. At least it would be for me. But basically I just carried it around in a bag and kind of felt bad because I love this knife so much. So we'll come back to that. I started carrying this. I was carrying it with this sheath, which is the sheath that it comes with. And I like to carry it horizontally or scout. Now you see there's some grippers tape on here. This sheath is not great. I still wore it for a year, but it's not great. In some of my previous videos, you saw me probably put Fisher Space Pen on here. Had a notepad on here at one point. Had a flashlight at one point. And that was fine. As long as you're wearing jeans and a belt, generally the sheath is okay. The problem with it is, let's just take a look at that. See the outline of where the knife actually is, and look at how much bigger the plastic is. That's okay maybe if you're carrying it standard carry, up and down, vertically. But when you're carrying it horizontal, all of this extra space here is just another place where this plastic thing can poke you, especially when you're bending over, you're sitting down, you're getting in and out of a car. And in particular, because of the way this clip works, it disappears into the shape of it if you're wearing it vertically. But when you put it horizontally like me, see the overlap? Well, that's even more stuff that's poking you. But you kind of get used to that. The two things that really made me dislike this sheath and ultimately want to carry this knife less, even though I love the actual knife, is this. See, I even have some grip on, or some gripper's tape on there, and it's already worn through. See that metal edge? That hurts like a bastard. Especially if you're not wearing jeans and you're wearing shorts and you got this clipped on your shorts. This stabs right into your groin. And it's really, really uncomfortable, to the point that I was putting gripper's tape on there. The other thing I don't like about this sheath is it's kind of ruining the knife. Can you see that where the black oxide is worn off right there? That's from the sheath. I didn't do that. Can you see the point on the blade there? You see all these weird lines? All of this wear on the black oxide is not from how I use the knife. Because the black oxide coating, believe it or not, super tough. But in and out of this sheath over and over again, that's what happens. And I love this black oxide. So this sheath pisses me off. And I love Essie as a company, but seriously, guys, throw this design away. Throw it away. Throw it away and contract Armitage. No joke. Just get all of your sheets, your Kydex sheets from Armitage. This is the Architect. This sheath is awesome. When I switched to this sheath, I was so damn happy because it fixed all my problems. It goes in so smooth, so tight. Oh, that's the other thing. Almost forgot. The rattle. It's not in there perfectly tight. Now put it in here. That rattling you're hearing is not the knife. It's the snaps. The knife is in there, and you've got this wonderful ramp. So you want to get the knife out? Boom. Let me do that where you can see how far it goes. It just comes out so smooth. Now, this is also made in the USA, as you can see by the buttons there, or the snaps. This only comes standard, I believe, with one of these. And the problem I found with just wearing it with one is if you were wearing it on a belt and not putting it through the belt loop, the knife would start to cock. So either this would be poking you, or worse, this end would be poking you. So putting two on there keeps it a little more stabilized, and it keeps it pretty perfectly horizontal. And you can even dip it a little bit if you want. So you got that quicker pull. You got an angle to come up with instead of, the horizontal carry. You don't really want perfectly horizontal because this is not a natural motion. If this is my waistband here, what you want is just a little cock. So you can, I said a little cock. So I recommend, if you have the Essie, any Essie knife to be honest, but they make sheets for pretty much all the great knives out there. I'm not going to list them all. It's not an advertisement for Armitage, but this sheath is wonderful. And look at the size difference. Look at how much I'm getting back. Not even counting the clip underneath. Just look how much smaller the Kydex is to that polymer sheath. I mean, if you look at the outline there, those snaps are just at the edge of the tip of the blade. This is about as small as you can get. The only complaint I had was at first the secondary strap. Had trouble coming up with that word. It moved a lot, and what would happen is it would unscrew itself. And man, when you get one of these things unscrewed with part of it still in and part of it out, it's not easy to get it back together. So when you first get it, you just got to really tighten it up and then try to hold that snap in place and move this around on the snap. Eventually, if you get it tight enough, it'll stay. I haven't had to do it for months, but for a while there I was having to do it like every week. The knife did not come with this paracord. I put that on there, but it did come with the scales. It's great. I love this knife. The only thing, being in Texas, the humidity here, I have to keep it pretty oiled. It doesn't require a crazy amount of oil, to be honest. For a while there, I was just putting beard oil on it. Somebody might be shocked to hear that, but the truth is, when it comes to protecting a knife from oxidation, any oil will do. You're just creating a moisture barrier. It doesn't matter. You could use olive oil. It will work. Now, granted, it's better not to use food oils because, you could attract insects depending on what you use. But the beard oil works great. Spirit oil, of course, works great. Don't need to do it too often, but the more often you do it, the better. It's just a great knife. It holds the edge. I love this size. The reason I like this paracord is because it gives me a little purchase with my pinky. So you see how beautifully my finger fits in there? And these just curl right there. So if I didn't have that, I'd be hanging a little bit, which is fine. This is not a machete. I'm not hacking my way through the woods with this thing. I don't really have to worry about whether I have a full grip or not. But now with that paracord there, I got something for my pinky to hold on to. It gives me just a little bit more. And I just love the way this knife locks in. That's not going anywhere. That's not slipping at all. I mean, you can really choke up on it too and get in there. And it's just, I love this knife. And I love this knife too. And I've actually been wearing this knife again because this knife solved the problem that I had with this knife. This knife is great when I'm walking the dog and I put it on the belt that comes with the leash. It's great when I wear it with jeans. Not really great in shorts or elastic waist, which is where this comes in. And because it's so light, it's just a perfect complement. So when I'm kicking around the house in comfy pants, this is on me. When I leave the house, generally, this is on me. This goes in the drawer for just in case something ever happens to this. But if I can help it, I'd never use another sheath than this Armitage sheath. So those are my two knives. Just wanted to share that with y'all.